This is a 1985 Toyota Corolla II. It's the hot version of the Corolla II that was sold only in Japan. And you also might be looking at this and going, well, that's just a Tercel. You're right. This is really just a second generation Tercel. But in Japan, they called lots of unrelated vehicles, at least to the Corolla II. I'm not exactly sure what the idea behind that was, but this one is marked Corolla II, and it happens to be an SR model. An SR would be the top trim that you could buy in 1985 of the Corolla II in Japan. It's a bit more than just an appearance package, although that's probably the most striking thing about this when you look at it. You have this body kit along the bottom, SR badges, two-tone paint, a lot of other little flourishes like the wheels, which aren't necessarily uncommon in themselves, but combined with this body kit and this full SR package, it's a little bit, I don't want to say rare, but it's extremely uncommon. As you can see, it's got integrated fog lights into this front bumper here. It has clear lenses on either side, where the normal turn signals would be on a standard model, so that's cool. SR badges, cool. I think they're two-piece alloy wheels. And yeah, it's a pretty good looker, and in my opinion, if everybody didn't know so much, the DeLorean has a lot of deserved praise because it is extremely 80s. But I would say that this specific Tercel is at least competitive with it, and especially once we get inside and start looking at it, and it is 1985 as much as you can be. So, the Toyota Tercel is a front-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, compact car made by Toyota deep into the 90s. But in the 80s, you could get it in a bunch of different configurations. Hatchback, or 3-door or 5-door, or wagon even. The 4-wheel drive wagon that's pretty popular, especially now that we're into the part where we have deep nostalgia for 80s Toyotas. That was a Tercel as well. But this specific Corolla II is a one-owner car that I bought from auction in Japan. And lots of people will be like, oh, one-owner car, but I know for sure this one was. I've got the full owner's manuals, the original keys, even a weird keychain, all the original details, maintenance history, original, not purchase paperwork, but like little warranty cards and stuff. And the previous owner, either when they first got it or not shortly after, also installed an aftermarket stereo system, but it's period correct, which I think is extremely awesome. It has 130-some thousand kilometers on it, so it's pretty low mileage for the time. It's in excellent shape as well. When I got it, this body kit here was really chewed up. It looked like there was a dog that chewed on this corner part. And I say a dog because there was like bite marks on both the bottom and the top, just right here in this corner. The front corners here were all scraped up. There's some just scratches and damage along the silver portion. So I did have that repaired professionally, because if you know anything about Tercels, and I'm just pretty much going to call this a Tercel. I know it's a Corolla II, but it's a Tercel. Mechanically and body-wise and everything. If you know anything about Tercels, a lot of these accessories are uncommon. This body kit is almost unheard of. Again, I'm not really super familiar, and I'm not a giant Tercel fanboy. I do really like them, but some people get very far into it. It's a very uncommon accessory, so much so that when I first saw this at auction and then I put in a bid and then I started looking and being like, oh, well, what's a Corolla II SR? So you can find Corolla II SRs of this vintage and of this year and in the 80s and this style. Most of the pictures of them tend to be in Russia now, like they were just imported there. But what I can never consistently find, and I tried, and I can try again, and maybe it's different now that we've had it for a little while. But I can never consistently find this Tercel, or Corolla II SR, with this two-tone paint, this body kit, and then also these wheels. I can find it sometimes with the body kit, but they won't have these wheels, or I can find a lot of them that are just like this in every way, except they don't have this body kit, and they instead have the standard body. But I can consistently find a Tomica little toy of this. I can find pictures of this full package, but it's exclusively in promotional material for the Corolla II SR made by Toyota back in the 80s. So like catalog pictures and stuff, and they show like all the swatches of colors and stuff. That I can find this. So that leads me to believe that it's not very common in the least. Condition issues. It's 1985, so we're on a long ass time from now. This is currently 2020 right now that I'm filming this, so there's a little bit of a, it's not necessarily a crack, but it's like deep hazing on this side marker here. It's condensation in the headlight, but it does work. This fog light doesn't work, although I do have replacement bulbs. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And I believe the blue has been touched up paint-wise. I don't believe it's been fully repainted, but it's had like the hood repainted or something like that, because it's very clean. And there's no chips or anything. The grill's in good shape. This front bumper, again, I had it repaired and repainted, so of course it's in excellent shape as well. You can see this paint rides up into the blue, and then there's this stripe. These silver bits, I believe, are painted, and they go all the way back, which is cool. You got the side guard, I guess, SR badge, and then it goes around. A little bit of rust here. That's not corrosion, that's a catkin that's stuck down there. Small bubble there. Review mirror here, it's got a little bit of chew on it. This black trim, it's originally silver on pretty much every Tercel, except this one's been repainted, but you can tell that it hasn't been scraped off. It looks like it was a rubber coating, but then it was attempted to be repainted. This portion here is black. It actually looks pretty good. There's a scratch right here. It's hard to see. Small scratch here. And a dent, but it looks like it's been filled in, I guess, right here. There's another very small dent here, and another one here. I'll move the camera around so maybe the reflection could catch it. It's very hard to see, of course. Small chip here. The trim is in pretty good shape, like all the little rubber bits around. It doesn't leak or anything, too, which is cool. The glass is good as well. I just have it down because it makes it much easier to walk around. And I don't believe these were, I don't believe these were Toyota accessories, but there's these aluminum, kind of like super stylized rain guards on either side. They're really nice and they're pretty cool, but I can't find any indication that they're actual Toyota accessories. See some hazing on the trim here. The hatch right here, a little touch-up paint, some scratches, 1.5 liter SR badge, some more scratches here by the key. Badge is in good shape. Small chip. This spoiler, quite rare. Everything's rare, I guess. This was in really poor shape, so I also had this repaired. It was like kind of like a sponge material, so like the paint had fallen through and it was perforated and, like I said, sponge-like. So had that filled in, sanded down, and then repainted. It was originally gloss black, so that's what we did. painted it the same gloss black that it was from the factory. And if you talk to Tercel 2 guys, this is really rare or uncommon. I don't know if there was louvers available for this because you have a rear wiper, at least on this version from Japan. I don't know if the US market ever got it. Continuing on with the condition issues. Small repaired chip here, touch-up paint. Scratch on this side trim. Driver's door here has chewed up little marks that the driver's door usually gets on this edge. There's that other stylized metal rain guard. And this rearview mirror has a couple chips too. And it also wobbles a little bit, but it's not loose or anything and it's not going to fall. But, the other major condition issues are the wheels. They look quite bad because they had a clear coat on them and then the aluminum is corroded underneath. But as far as the actual surface of them, most of them are actually really good and you could repair these easily. I mean, a professional wheel repairer could repair these easily, not me or just some dude at his house. This edge has been curbed on this one. One of these is much worse than the other ones. See, this one's in much nicer shape. You have a scratch and you can catch it with your fingernail on here. I don't know exactly how common these wheels are. I've seen them before, especially in like a two-tone where this will be like a lighter gray and then this interior will be a darker gray. But they are Toyota wheels. And this wheel's not too bad either. So this is the bad one. So, been curbed pretty hard here. It's actually been gouged pretty bad in this center portion and it will definitely need to be filled in. That's like a pretty deep gouge. But it does hold air. And these tires have been running right, and these are 14s as well. The other cosmetic condition issues. Oh, Jesus, sorry. Just blinded myself. The roof. So the roof has various little cuts. Well, not cuts, but like scratches. Kind of a burn through right here. Dent. But the edge is good. No rust or corrosion anywhere. No holes. And, in my opinion, remarkably clean for something from 1985. So yeah, I'm not exactly familiar with the differences between the US market Tercel, second gen Tercel, and the Japanese market Tercels or Corolla 2s. But being SR, this is the hot version, and of course, like I said earlier, you get this appearance package, cool SR badges, blacked out trim, which would normally be silver, clear side lenses, integrated fog lights, all that sort of cool stuff. And of course, integrated front plate mount because Japan requires front plates. Here's another cosmetic blemish. I don't know if I pointed that out. And this sort of extremely awesome theme carries into the inside. So, it's two-door. You do get back seats. This door trim here is actually in excellent shape. This is like a padded plastic, which is why it holds up so well. This armrest is a harder plastic, and then this is just standard 80s hard plastic. The only cosmetic issue on both this door and that door is this front handle here. See how this front edge is like extremely faded? That's the largest cosmetic issue that I can find on this door. Edge is good, rubber trim very good. Everything is quite clean. And of course, you got your window too. So, inside here, you have the original Corolla 2 mats. Driver's side mat is worn more than the other ones, but it's still in excellent shape. I'm guessing that's just where the heel sits, which is why that's broken through right at this little edge. And then these excellent seats. I think the Toyota Tercel four-wheel drive wagons came with a variant of this, usually in brown, I believe. But it's extremely 80s, so this is like a racing-esque type seat. So you get these bolsters that are actually hold you in pretty well. I mean, this isn't the fastest car in the world, but it doesn't weigh anything, so you at least got that going for you. Super cool twin blue with like a white diamond pattern that goes all the way up. Functions properly. Adjust this back. There we go. And then sitting inside, so you sit quite low, but it doesn't matter because it's so cool. Original Toyota wheel, defrost, parking lights, your wiper here. So this is to press to spray on the windshield, and this is to turn the actual rear wiper on. I think this is just like a quick swipe, tab it on fully, and then this is the spray. This is for the rear wiper. Front wiper, this is how you turn it on. That's how you spray it. Turn signal, or the headlights and turn signal, so it's just the standard stuff. You get a clock down here, and it stays on all the time, and it's in the very orange color. So right now it's 1:30 p.m. here in Sarasota, Florida. Warning lights on either side. RPM, which is 6,500, well, 6,300 red line maybe. 6,250 probably. Temperature gauge, fuel gauge, miles per hour, and this has 124,694 kilometers. Neat 80s grid in the back. How you reset your trip meter. How you set the clock. Keys. Fog lights down here. So you flip the switch, then you at least have to have the lights on into the first level. I don't know what that's called, but you can see it says lights over there. That just means your fog lights are on. Original AM radio, which works, but also this aftermarket Bijou 10-car stereo, and by 10-car I mean TEN space car stereo. Dolby noise reduction, metal tab option, and it does work. It's a little loud gearing wise, but it does function. I have no indication that they smoked in here, but this has been used at least a few times. Cigarette lighter. And the ashtray looks like it's at least held something that was kind of gross. But no cigarette burns or marks or anything anywhere. It does have air conditioning, which does function, and it's 2-stage, so you have it off on economy or on always on. In economy, I guess it's just quicker to disengage, so you have more power available to you. 5-speed manual, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reverse. Dashboard's actually really nice. It's hard plastic, and it's the dark blue that Toyota used in a lot of its 80s vehicles. Review mirror is in pretty good shape. It's got the glass itself seems to be separating from the backing, so you have this black outer edge. Mirror still works fine, and it's not warped or anything, but I've seen that happen on older cars. As you can see, the headliner does have some bubbles in it. It is just the fabric underneath, like a gauze type backing, and then this is just glued. Sun visors are a little sticky and they're a little deformed, and I'm pretty sure what it was like a soft cardboard type in there, and then just over the years it's kind of disintegrated, which is why this isn't holding its shape. Made out of the same rubberized plastic material. The light does work. Well, at least it should. Hey, there it goes. Emergency brake. Yeah. Let's go to the passenger side. Passenger side, also just really nice. But door, just like the driver's side, everything is in extremely good shape. The largest cosmetic issue, no mechanical issues, but cosmetically the front of the actual door handle. Edge here, no corrosion, no rust. Passenger seat, the same pattern, same bolstering, in excellent shape. original manual, or manuals, original floor mats, which say Corolla II. I don't know how common those are, but there you go. There's actually a lot of room in these Corolla IIs, Tercels as well, at least for the front passengers. In here we have original owner's manual from 1985, Japan, all sorts of phone numbers, lots of maintenance and inspection history from throughout the years for this car, which the chassis code, if you're curious, is AL21 031 8277. Lots of them throughout the years. It's always cool to get that. Here's original, like, I don't know what this is. They look like warranty cards for me. And that's the Toyota emblem, or at least something, but this specific form is Toyota. Maybe first inspection sheet. This, telling you about the Japanese Automobile Foundation. Sorry. Japan Automobile Federation, that's what that is, JAF. You see this on a lot of Land Cruisers and things. I think it's the JDM version of AAA. I think, I'm not quite sure. But it's like on tow trucks and things, and I've seen them before at auction, so that's just what I assume. So this is really neat. Quite 80s of that. Here's another warranty card of some kind. And then in the envelope it goes. Cool, I'll put it away. A original, I guess, inspection maintenance thing for this Corolla. So that's what they give you, and it's kind of like one that they're like, just fill it out here. So usually they'll fill it out once and then never again. So we'll see about this. It looks like we got 1, 2, 3. We made it 3. Ooh, so early. First one I had 1,140 kilometers. Then when I had 5,341 kilometers, and then 12,692 kilometers. And then I switched over to these sheets. These are always air conditioning things, telling you how you can have the air conditioning, which it only comes out these front face vents, how it works, and then of course the heat and everything too. Kind of cool. Seen this in a lot of 80s vehicles. You get your own special little manual just for the AC. Oh, and right here. So this gives you an idea of all the models that this worked with. Corsa, Tercel, Corolla II, and the Carib. And the Carib is what the wagon we got here, the Tercel, or the Toyota Tercel four-wheel drive wagon that you see driving around. In Japan, that was called the Carib. And then the Corolla II manual. And just like any good Japanese manual, it's got all the information about how things are. Seemingly westernized people playing tennis, talking about how cool the Corolla is. It's really neat, and it does have SR specific information in here relating to the engine specifically. And we'll get to that. Let's check out the back. So the back, you get a Corolla II full rear floor mat too as well, which is nice. The same fabric and the same pattern, you just don't get headrests back here. The same material on the side quarter panels here on the inside. Armrest, unused ashtray, no ashtray over there. And only lap belts back here, but That was the style of the time. These rear windows also fold out. Kind of a good way, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and then back here you can see these three-way speaker systems, and I don't know how long these have been here, but they're quite 80s. They do work. They're not blown out or anything, which is really awesome. And they're just mounted on the fiberboard, or paperboard I guess, rear shelf back there. I gotta get the keys for the hatch. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. There's no trunk release for these. So the hatches work, or the hatch stretch, I should say. And then here is another issue, I guess, with this, is this fiberboard cardboard panel isn't in perfect shape. Oof. Let me get it. Okay. So as you can see, these edges are broken. They were like that when I got it. And then there's these pegs that are supposed to be up front. See how this one has this plastic peg? Both of these ones on the very front are broken. So it doesn't sit in these recesses like it should. So we'll just set it down for now. Pretty decent, I guess, cargo space for a small hatchback. And you can, of course, fold down the rear seats. Doesn't fold flat, which is unfortunate, but you can do it. There's the actual rear area, and then under here you have a space-saving spare and the full toolkit, jack, everything. It's all original down here. Now let's get to the engine. Leave those seats up. So besides being an appearance package, the SR was also equipped with a Japanese-only engine option. This is the Toyota 3A SU engine. It sounds and it looks more impressive than it actually is. So this is just a standard 3A engine, which we did get here in the United States. However, ours would come with just a single carburetor on the intake. This one, however, the SU means twin-carbonated. I have no idea what kind of carburetors these are. I don't know if they're SU carburetors, and that's kind of why it was called the 3A SU engine. Not sure. But I do know that the engine itself is identical to any other 3A engine with the exception of the intake. So the intake and the carburetor system is unique to this. Everything else, timing belt, AC compressors, power steering pumps, all that stuff is identical. It's just the intake up into the carburetors is the unique part. So this is a twin electronically carbed, cable-driven throttle system mounted to this, which allows this engine to make, when it was new anyway, 90 horsepower rated. And that's also another downside of this car, is it runs, it starts, it drives, but it doesn't run correctly. And I know it has everything to do with these twin carbs. And I was gonna do some stuff, like I got the timing belt and I got all that stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, do real nice things. It's fallen to the wayside. I haven't gotten to it. And then I was flirting with the idea of putting a 4A GE in here, A-series engine, should just bolt right in. But I never got around to it. So while this does run, drive, start, air conditioning works, and you can drive it all you want, it doesn't idle properly once it's warmed up. When you first start it, when it's cold, it doesn't idle properly, and I'm pretty sure there's some sort of solenoid in here. But as soon as you get any bit of temperature, the idle smooths out. But it's not stable. I don't know if there's a vacuum leak somewhere, or if the linkages or something, but this is kind of a nightmare for me. Throwing a 4A GE in here would do a lot to alleviate this, because this entire vacuum system, gone. All gone. Because this doesn't go into the cabin at all. There's nothing, there's no like vacuum actuated windows or any of that sort of stuff. This is just engine stuff. On the other hand, it is a unique engine in that it's a Toyota original, factory original twin carbureted system. Besides the idle issue, like I said, you can drive it, doesn't overheat, doesn't burn oil, doesn't do any of that sort of stuff. I've already did some stuff, replaced the spark plugs, cables, just a general tune-up. Haven't gotten around to doing anything else because other things got in the way, and now I'm never going to get to this, so I might as well just sell it along. So yeah, that is the Corolla II SR. So we're going to take it for a short drive, and then you can see what that's like. Alright, got to bring this to the warehouse, so let's take a drive there. About 15 minutes away. It does have an exhaust leak as well, and the exhaust does rattle, but this is it running. Like I said, you can drive it. It runs really nice. It's just the carbs aren't set perfectly. And they're quite complicated, especially to ask somebody to try to diagnose, because they're not just normal carburetors either, they're electronic. Quite comfortable too. You would expect it to be much more bouncy, but it isn't. And it does have power steering as well and power brakes. I don't know if it has four-wheel disc brakes. I think it just has front discs and drums in the back. Would make sense. I mean, this is the hot version of an economy car. Won't be going on the highway, but it'll certainly do highway speeds. If you've driven a second-gen Tercel, it's just that, just way the hell cooler looking. It does have pretty good power. I mean, it doesn't have a ton of power, but it doesn't weigh anything. You notice we're actually quite small in the grand scheme of things. We'll go this way. Horn works. Ooh, something major's going on up there. All right. Have to find a way around that. And because it's Florida summer, it's extremely hot outside. Probably 95. AC works quite well. It hasn't been converted, so it's still its R12 system. But if it's an R12 system and it works, don't mess with it. Temperature now, up to operating temperature. Just fine. It's just that twin carb setup. Bounces sometimes too at lower speeds. See, just evened out. Assuming the speedometer cable's chunky. Haven't actually looked. where I turned, but we just missed the turn light, so I'll go up here and do a U-turn and see if we beat that guy. Looks like we're gonna beat that dude. And we did. And that is the 1985 Toyota Corolla II SR. Like I said, it's great. It's gorgeous. It's extremely 80s. And it's just a perfect encapsulate. Let me start over. It's a perfect representation of directly in the middle of the 80s. It's 1985. Blue body kit, cool aftermarket stereo system. It's really nice, and it actually runs really well too, with the exception of those carburetors are temperamental. If I had it my way and I was going to keep this, I would probably just swap a 4AGE in there and be done with it, but I guess that's up for you to decide.